Philosophies Revived.
Have you ever been in a situation where you're going through your day without actually being present? You get up, make your coffee, drive to work, and yet something feels off. You don't remember the drive or the song you were humming, and before you know it, you're already thinking about your next task. It's as though you're stuck in a loop, living through the motions but not truly experiencing life. This is waking sleep, a trance that many of us are unaware of, but it's all around us. It's as if we're sleepwalking through our existence, trapped in a routine designed by society, with our awareness flickering in and out like a dim light. Now, what if I told you that what you're experiencing isn't the true reality of who you are? What if, just like in the Truman Show, your entire world is an illusion? Sure, you might argue that your life feels real, the bills, the deadlines, the people you interact with every day, but in reality, you might be unknowingly trapped in a constructed reality, a system built by outside forces that have taught you how to live, how to think, and how to behave. And it's not your fault. In fact, it's the way the system is designed to keep you in a trance, to make you unaware of your potential and true self. The worst part? You're not alone. Most people are caught in the same loop. We've been taught to accept the life we're given, to follow the prescribed path, and to keep our heads down, just doing what's expected of us. Imagine what it would feel like to break out of that loop, to wake up from the fog of waking sleep. It wouldn't be easy, but it would be transformative. It would mean stepping away from the automatic responses, from the well-worn paths we've been following blindly. It would mean reclaiming our autonomy, our ability to make conscious decisions, and most importantly, our ability to live a life that is truly ours. The good news? You can start this journey at any moment. All it takes is the realization that you don't have to live in this loop any longer. There's a whole new world out there, just waiting for you to wake up. The first step to freedom is simple but often overlooked awareness. Awareness of the patterns, the habits, and the scripts you've been unconsciously following. Becoming aware is the key to breaking free from waking sleep. It's about seeing things for what they are, instead of being deceived by the surface-level reality. And that's where the journey begins, waking up. So, ask yourself, do you want to continue living on autopilot? Or are you ready to wake up from the illusion? Why are we stuck? The illusion of control. Why is it so hard to break free from this loop? Why do we stay in this waking sleep, even though deep down, we feel something isn't quite right? It's because the system has been designed to keep you there. From the moment we're born, we're taught how to think, how to act, and what to desire. We're given a script to follow, and if we step outside of it, we risk facing rejection, judgment, or worse, confusion. It's like being an actor in a movie where the script is already written for you. Your lines, your actions, your decisions, they're all planned out. And if you deviate, the whole thing falls apart. But who wrote the script? You might think that the choices you make are all your own. But what if I told you that much of what you think is your decision is actually influenced by external forces? Think about it. When was the last time you made a decision that wasn't shaped by society's expectations? The career you chose, the house you bought, the person you married, how many of these decisions were based on what you really wanted versus what society told you was right? The truth is, we're all living under the illusion that we're making independent choices. But in reality, we're following a blueprint that's been handed down to us. And it's comfortable. It's safe. It's what's expected. But is it really your life, or is it just a reflection of the system? Most people live without questioning why they do what they do. They simply accept the path that's been laid out for them. And that's where the trap lies. You're not choosing your life, you're being chosen. Your desires, your actions, even your identity, are often influenced by what others have decided for you. It's like living in a world where everyone else's opinions, values, and beliefs shape who you are, but you don't even realize it. The moment you begin to question the life you've been living, the moment you ask yourself, is this really who I am? That's when the cracks in the illusion start to appear. You start to see that you're not a character in someone else's story, you're the author of your own. But breaking free from this mental prison takes courage. It takes a willingness to step outside of the system and ask the tough questions. It means rejecting the comfort of the predictable and embracing the uncertainty of true freedom. So, why are we stuck? Because the system is built to keep us stuck. It's built to make us think that following the script is the only option. But the truth is, you have the power to break free. It's all about realizing that the life you're living doesn't have to be the life you continue living. There's so much more out there, waiting for you to wake up and claim it. The cost of staying asleep, how waking sleep stifles your potential. Think about the last time you felt truly alive, when every sense was heightened, when you were so present in the moment that time seemed to stand still. Maybe it was during a deep conversation with someone, or when you were lost in the beauty of nature. Whatever it was, you felt alive. But then, the next day, you went back to your routine, your usual autopilot mode. That sense of aliveness disappeared. You were back to the same old. So, what happened? This is the cost of staying asleep. The beauty of life, the potential you have within you, is stifled by waking sleep. The autopilot mode that many of us operate in keeps us from feeling alive, keeps us from reaching our true potential. We go through our days doing what's expected, but we don't feel the fire, the excitement, or the joy that comes from living with awareness. Instead, we're stuck in the fog of forgetfulness. We're sleepwalking, unaware of the incredible depth and power of life that's just waiting to be tapped into. But here's the thing, when you stay in waking sleep, you're not just missing out on the magic of life. You're also limiting your potential. Think about the most creative, successful, and inspiring people you know. Do they seem like they're constantly in a state of waking sleep? No, they're fully awake, present, and conscious. They're actively creating their reality, not just letting life happen to them. They're making conscious decisions, shaping their paths, and experiencing life on a whole different level. And you can do the same. The problem is that when we stay asleep, we don't realize the opportunities passing us by. We don't see the connections between people, places, or ideas that could help us grow. We're too caught up in the routine to notice the synchronicities, the signs, the magic that life has to offer. Staying in waking sleep means staying trapped in a small, limited version of yourself. You're playing small when you were meant to play big. And that's the tragedy. What if I told you that waking up doesn't just mean being more present in your life, it means unlocking a deeper understanding of reality itself? When you wake up, you see life through a different lens. You see the connections that others miss. You understand the hidden truths that lie just beneath the surface. You tap into a deeper well of creativity, energy, and purpose. You stop living by default and start living by design. But it's not easy. Waking up requires breaking free from the chains of automatic thinking and habitual responses. It means challenging the status quo, questioning everything you've been taught, and unlearning the scripts that have been handed to you. It means choosing to live intentionally, with purpose and awareness. It's a journey, and it's not for the faint of heart. But the reward? It's nothing short of freedom. The freedom to live your life fully, authentically, and with a sense of aliveness that most people only dream of. How to break free, the power of self-observation. So, how do you wake up from this trance? How do you break free from the loops that have been holding you back? The answer is simpler than you might think: self-observation. But before you brush this off as just another fluffy self-help tip, hear me out. Self-observation is the key to unlocking your true potential. It's the first step to becoming aware of the patterns and habits that have kept you stuck in waking sleep. Self-observation is more than just thinking about yourself. It's about becoming the observer of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. It's about stepping outside of your own experience and watching yourself from a distance. This might sound a little strange at first, but it's incredibly powerful. When you observe yourself without judgment, you create space for change. You can see the automatic responses, the knee-jerk reactions, and the unconscious habits that shape your life. And once you see them, you can start to make different choices. Start by paying attention to your thoughts. Notice when you start to feel frustrated, angry, or stressed. Observe the thought that triggered the emotion and ask yourself, is this really true? When you catch yourself going through a routine, like mindlessly checking your phone or zoning out during a conversation, ask yourself, what's really going on here? Are you engaged, or are you just going through the motions? The more you observe, the more you'll start to see the cracks in the illusion. You'll realize just how much of your life has been happening on autopilot, and you'll gain the power to change it. Self-observation is like flipping a switch in your brain. It's like waking up in the middle of a dream. You start to see the whole picture, the patterns, the choices, and the ways you've been holding yourself back. This practice is powerful because it doesn't require you to change anything right away. You don't need to force yourself to be different or perfect. All you need to do is observe. And in that observation, you'll find the freedom to make new choices. It's the first step to reclaiming your autonomy, your power, and your life. The science behind it, rewiring your brain. You may be wondering, how can something as simple as self-observation change the course of your life? Well, science is starting to catch up with ancient wisdom. Neuroscience has shown us that our brains are malleable. This ability to change and adapt is called neuroplasticity. When you begin observing your thoughts and behaviors, you're essentially creating new neural pathways in your brain. It's like upgrading your internal operating system. To understand this, think of your brain as a vast network of highways. Each habit, each thought, each action is like a car traveling along these roads. The more frequently a thought or action occurs, the more it strengthens the road, making it easier for your brain to travel down it automatically. This is why habits are so hard to break. If you've been doing something a certain way for years, like always checking your phone first thing in the morning, the neural pathway for that action has become supercharged. It's automatic. You don't even have to think about it. But here's the good news. You can change this. You don't have to be stuck on the same old road forever. The more you practice self-observation, the more you activate your brain's ability to form new pathways. It's like creating a brand new highway in your mind, one that leads to freedom, presence, and conscious living. Think about when you first learned something new, perhaps a sport, a new language, or even driving a car. In the beginning, it felt awkward. Your brain had to work hard to process all the new information. But over time, it became easier, right? You didn't have to think about how to drive or what word to say. You just did it. This is the magic of neuroplasticity. It's the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. And by observing yourself, you're triggering that process. When you observe your thoughts and actions without judgment, you interrupt the habitual patterns that have been running your life. Instead of automatically reacting, you start to create space between stimulus and response. This space is where true freedom lies. This is where you can choose a new way of thinking, acting, and living. As you build new pathways in your brain, you'll notice a shift. You'll feel more connected to the present moment, more aware of your choices, and more aligned with your true self. You'll no longer be trapped in the endless loops of waking sleep. And as you awaken, your brain will keep adapting, strengthening new patterns that lead to a deeper, more fulfilling life. Why this is revolutionary: the power of waking up. You might be asking yourself, why does all this matter? Why does waking up from waking sleep have such profound consequences, not just for you, but for the entire world? Well, here's the thing. When enough people wake up, the entire structure of society begins to shift. Imagine a world full of awake individuals, people who aren't blindly following the rules, who aren't mindlessly consuming, who aren't caught in the trance of societal expectations. These people would question the status quo. They would reject the systems that hold them back, that limit their potential, and that exploit their labor. The systems that govern our world, from the economy to politics to education, are built on a foundation of unconsciousness. They thrive when people are unaware of their own power. When you live in waking sleep, you are easier to control. You follow the rules without question. You consume without thinking. You go along with the flow because it's easier. But when you wake up, you become a force of nature. You no longer follow the script. You create your own. And it's not just about you waking up. It's about creating a ripple effect. As you start to wake up and become aware, your energy shifts. You become more present, more intentional, and more aligned with the universe. And guess what? Your energy influences the people around you. They begin to wake up too. This isn't just some spiritual mumbo-jumbo, it's science. Your energy is contagious. The more aware you become, the more you raise the vibration of everyone around you. Imagine millions of people waking up to their true potential, breaking free from the systems that control them. That's a revolution of consciousness. It's not just about rejecting the old ways, it's about creating new ways of being, living, and interacting with the world. As you wake up, you start to see the world through a new lens. The veil of illusion lifts. You begin to see the hidden connections, the synchronicities, and the deep truths that were always there, but that you couldn't see because you were trapped in the fog of waking sleep. But don't think for a second that it's going to be easy. Waking up isn't for the faint of heart. It requires courage. It requires questioning everything you've ever known. It requires peeling back the layers of programming and conditioning that have kept you safe but small. It means challenging your beliefs, your habits, and even your identity. But the reward? It's freedom. It's clarity. It's a life that's truly yours. So why does this matter? Because waking up is the first step toward creating a world that's more conscious, more connected, and more aligned with our highest potential. You're not just waking up for yourself, you're waking up for the entire world. And that's the kind of revolution we need. Your true self is waiting, reconnecting with the inner spark. When was the last time you felt truly connected to yourself? Not just going through the motions, but deeply aligned with your inner essence. Most people go their entire lives without ever experiencing this connection. Instead, they wear masks, play roles, and live out scripts that aren't even their own. But what if I told you that your true self, your authentic, raw, unfiltered self, is waiting for you to wake up? It's buried underneath all the conditioning, the expectations, and the false identities you've been carrying for years. But here's the thing, you can reconnect with that true self. And when you do, life becomes a completely different experience. Think back to when you were a child, before the world told you what to be, how to act, and what to desire. You were curious, creative, full of wonder. You were alive. But as you grew older, you were taught to suppress that aliveness. You were told to fit in, to follow the rules, to be responsible. And slowly, your true self got buried under layers of expectations. You became a version of yourself that was more about what you were supposed to be, rather than who you really are. Waking up is about peeling back those layers and reconnecting with that childlike wonder. It's about rediscovering the part of you that was unafraid, unashamed, and unapologetically yourself. That version of you is still there, waiting for you to wake up and remember who you are. And when you do, everything changes. You see life through a completely different lens. You stop living for others and start living for you. You stop letting the world define you, and you start defining yourself. You become aligned with your true purpose, your true desires, and your true potential. Life isn't something that happens to you, it's something you create. And when you start living from this place of authenticity, everything shifts. You attract opportunities. You form deeper connections. You find joy in the simple things. And most importantly, you feel alive. So, what's stopping you from reconnecting with your true self? The only thing standing in your way is the false personality you've been carrying. It's time to let go of the masks, the roles, and the scripts. It's time to wake up and step into the version of yourself that's always been there, waiting to be seen. A practical exercise to start now: the power of awareness. Now that you understand the importance of waking up, let's talk about how you can start. The first step is incredibly simple, but it's something most people overlook: self-observation. This practice doesn't require fancy rituals or meditation retreats. It's something you can do every single day, no matter where you are or what you're doing. Start by becoming aware of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors throughout the day. For the next 24 hours, observe yourself. Don't try to change anything, just notice what's happening inside your mind and body. Notice the thoughts that arise. Are they negative or positive? Are they automatic or intentional? When you're interacting with someone, how present are you? Are you really listening to them, or are you just thinking about what you're going to say next? Here's a practical example. The next time you're eating, pay attention to the experience. Don't just eat mindlessly, scrolling through your phone or watching TV. Really taste the food. How does it feel in your mouth? What flavors can you pick up? What texture stands out? You may think you've tasted it before, but this time, try to notice the subtle things, the richness of the flavor, the way it feels against your tongue. This small act of presence is a gateway into self-awareness. By observing your daily habits with intention, you're breaking free from the automatic mode and reconnecting with the present moment. When you're driving, notice the scenery around you. Instead of getting lost in your thoughts, look at the road, the trees, the sky. How much do you miss when your mind is elsewhere? The act of simply being present in the moment is a powerful antidote to the sleepwalking state we're often in. Each time you stop and observe, you are taking a small step toward waking up from the illusion. You might feel resistance at first. After all, we're conditioned to go on autopilot. But the more you practice, the more natural it will become. You'll start noticing things you never saw before. You'll start to recognize the patterns, the automatic reactions, and the unconscious habits that have kept you stuck. With each moment of awareness, you break free a little more from the chains of waking sleep. This exercise may seem small, but the effects are profound. The more you practice, the more you'll begin to see how much of your life has been on autopilot. You'll start to notice when you're living unconsciously and when you're truly present. And that's when the magic happens. That's when you start to reclaim your life. So, for the next 24 hours, give it a try. Watch yourself without judgment, without trying to fix anything. Just observe. You'll be amazed at what you discover. The ripple effect, how your awakening affects the world. It's not just about you. When you wake up, something incredible happens. The people around you start waking up too. Your energy, your presence, your awareness, it all has an impact. This is the ripple effect of awakening. Imagine for a moment that you are a tuning fork, and the vibrations you send out can affect everything and everyone around you. When you become aware and present, you start vibrating at a higher frequency. And guess what? This higher frequency doesn't just stay with you, it spreads. When you show up as your true self, others start to notice. Your awareness challenges their unconsciousness. It might not happen immediately, but over time, your presence starts to shift the energy in your environment. It's like the pebble thrown into a pond. The ripple starts small, but eventually it reaches every corner of the water. When you wake up to your true potential, it's not just your life that changes, it's the lives of everyone you interact with. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who just radiated positive energy? Someone who was fully present and engaged? Did you feel inspired, uplifted, or even a little bit more awake just by being in their presence? That's the ripple effect at work. It's not always about what you say or do, it's about who you are. Your energy speaks louder than words, and when you raise your vibration, you create a wave of change that goes beyond yourself. But this ripple effect goes deeper than just changing the people around you. As you wake up, you start to align with a higher consciousness, a greater truth. The more individuals who awaken, the more the collective consciousness shifts. It's like a network of people connected by a web of energy. Each person who wakes up adds a new thread, strengthening the fabric of reality itself. It's a global shift, a movement toward greater awareness, greater love, and greater truth. This is why waking up is so revolutionary. When you take the first step, you're not just changing your own life, you're contributing to a collective awakening that has the potential to change the world. You're a part of something much bigger than yourself. Your awakening is a small piece of a much larger puzzle, and as more people wake up, that puzzle begins to take shape. A world of conscious, awakened individuals is a world of infinite possibility. The big question: are you ready to wake up? Now comes the hardest question. Are you ready to wake up? Are you ready to step out of the loop, break free from the illusion, and start living the life you were meant to live? Waking up isn't easy. It's not for the faint of heart. It requires courage, self-awareness, and a willingness to face the truth. But it's also the most empowering thing you can do. The journey won't be simple. It's not a one-time event. It's a lifelong process. As you wake up, you'll face discomfort. You'll question everything you thought you knew about yourself and the world. The old ways of thinking, the old habits, will begin to unravel. And as they do, you'll find yourself in uncharted territory. But that's where the magic happens. That's where true freedom lies. Waking up means seeing the world for what it truly is. It means no longer living in a world of illusions and distractions, but instead experiencing life with clarity and purpose. It means discovering who you really are, beyond the masks, beyond the expectations, beyond the false personality you've been carrying. It's about reclaiming your life, your power, and your truth. So, are you ready? Are you ready to take the first step? Are you ready to let go of the illusions, to break free from the loop, and to start living a life that is truly yours? The choice is yours. You can continue living in waking sleep, trapped by the illusions of the world. Or you can wake up, reclaim your power, and begin the journey toward true freedom. The truth is, there's no turning back once you wake up. Your life will never be the same. But the rewards, they're beyond anything you can imagine. So, I ask you again, are you ready to wake up and see the world as it truly is? The journey to true freedom, reclaiming your life. If you've made it this far, then you're already on the path. You've started asking the right questions. You've begun to see through the illusion. Now, it's time to take action. The journey to true freedom is one of self-discovery, self-awareness, and self-mastery. It's about breaking free from the patterns, habits, and beliefs that have been holding you back. It's about reclaiming your power and stepping into the fullness of who you really are. But let me be clear, this isn't a quick fix. It's a lifelong journey. Every day is an opportunity to wake up, to observe yourself, and to make conscious choices. It's about creating new patterns, new habits, and a new way of being. It's about aligning your mind, body, and soul with your true essence. The road ahead might not always be easy. You'll face challenges, discomfort, and resistance. But each challenge is an opportunity to grow, to expand, and to break through the layers of illusion. Every time you question your thoughts, every time you choose awareness over automatic behavior, you're taking a step closer to your true self. And with each step, you become freer, more alive, and more connected to the infinite possibilities of life. So, are you ready to step into the unknown? Are you ready to break free from the loop and live a life of true freedom? The choice is yours. The journey is yours. And the rewards, They're beyond anything you can imagine. Let's start now.